1819. She inherited the throne at the astonishing age of 18. She had an impressive family life. Favorably, her children behaved well and grew up to be respectable adults. Then there were 40 grandchildren. The royal family had much time together. Attending the Great Exhibition was one time that brought them close. Somebody had to supervise Victoria's education, and it was the Baroness Louise Lehane. When Victoria was a young girl, she spoke German. Later, she spoke English. Her mother was overly protective. She would act as a captor and lock her in her room for hours. Victoria rarely emerged. In fact, those in authority would not let her go anywhere without one. Therefore, she did not have much to lose. After church on Sundays, she was questioned in detail about the sermon. Unfortunately, her patience was not extremely high, as she was only 6 years old. She lived as a Christian. Her Baroness, one of her only companions, was most likely the kindest person she knew. The Baroness persuaded Victoria to keep a diary, and she did so all of her life. Because Victoria had never known a father, she felt the need to have a man in her life. Victoria first met her husband-to-be, Albert, at a young age. Happily, they married in February of 1840. Benjamin Disraeli, one of Victoria's prime ministers, he often flattered her and she grew very fond of him over the years. John Brown was a servant. He was very rustic and she was dearly devoted to him, although many did not see why. Victoria and Albert had 9 children, which was very common at that time. Victoria was not very fond of children in general, although. The heir to the throne, Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, insisted on being called Edward, but the family nicknamed him Bertie. Prince Leopold, the youngest, died of hemophilia, which was known as the royal disease, because Victoria was an unknowing carrier of the hereditary disorder. The women could not get it, but it would affect the men. To keep the young princes and princesses humble, their parents fed them a disgusting diet of boiled pork and milk pudding. They wore hand-me-down clothes. The eldest was named after her mother, but the family called her Vicky. She was very intelligent and musically inclined. On the other hand, Edward was more interested in hunting and sports than his studies. The family pleaded for him not to be involved in such things. After Prince Albert's death at the age of 42 in 1861, Victoria made her youngest daughter, nicknamed Baby, stay home with her. A few years later, Baby married a German prince. Victoria was outraged, once again feeling alone as she did during her fatherless childhood. Victoria had numerous radiant days and deep times. Something the royal family did for entertainment was the Great Exhibition, which was the idea of Prince Albert. Vivaciously, adventurers from around the world would bring their inventions, such as the light bulb, the horseless carriage, and the Singer sewing machine. Because the Great Exhibition was held in a colossal building longer than 5 football fields and made with 1,000,000 feet of glass, it earned the name the Crystal Palace. Everyone was in awe. The potato crop was Ireland's #1 source of soup, until potato blight hit. It was a type of disgusting fungi that destroyed most potatoes. Over 1 million Irish died because England did not do anything to help. Victoria was nearly assassinated 6 times. Once she went to the opera with a black eye and won a standing ovation. In 1901, as Victoria's eyesight and health started to fail, she went into a wheelchair. On January 22, 1901, she died, and Bertie became King Edward VIII. It is befalling to envision the extensive amount of glorious and sinister days Victoria encountered. Notably, Victoria was a splendid queen. From her father's untimely death, her mother's protective hand, the Great Exhibition, and her heartbreaking, Victoria still experienced a wonderful life.